NTPA Championship Polling on RFD TV. If you're also chomping at the bit for NTPA polling, very simple. You can find schedules, participants, news, and more just a click away, and even get your NTPA gear at ntpapoll.com. It is a one-stop shop for everything NTPA, and you can purchase things to go to every poll, and you can find out the 2026 schedule the moment it gets released. It will be posted to ntpapoll.com. Again, that website, ntpapoll.com. This has been the NTPA Overnight Report. I'm Greg Hunter. Remember, pull hard.
All right, modern technology. Gotta love it. And we touched on this briefly this past Friday morning. Knucklebuster brought it up in our Monday morning program. And we kind of break it down. The Department of Justice announcing that they will no longer go after criminal charges for tampering with your onboard diagnostic devices. That does not mean truck drivers can start installing these delete kits for your diesel exhaust fluid or diesel particulate filters. Yeah, for years, drivers have been airing their grievances over diesel exhaust fluid and DPF requirements. In addition to the engine derate issues, many drivers complain about negative impacts on engine performance, engine lifespan. Many drivers have tried to circumvent those issues using delete kits that would reprogram the ECU, right? Tapping into the onboard diagnostics port, delete devices can stop the engine from looking for emission sensors that would regulate the DPF and DEF components. There are two problems with delete kits. First, they will void a warranty, and secondly, they're illegal. As per the Clean Air Act, tampering with emission control is a federal crime. There are also civil penalties, and that's the one Grump kind of explained. I said, all right, we know criminal penalties means you could spend time behind bars, right? Civil penalties, that's when you'll get a fine. And those civil penalties can be up to $45,000 per vehicle and per day for reporting and record-keeping violations. Fines of up to $4,500 per tampering event or sale of a delete device that can be handed down to anyone selling or making delete kits. It was December of 2024. There was a diesel mechanic in Wyoming, Troy Lake, that was given a year in prison for installing delete kits. That caught the attention of officials in D.C. We know Senator Lumens of Wyoming introduced the Diesel Truck Liberation Act to prevent people from being prosecuted or sued for tampering with emissions equipment, along with other things related to delete devices. President Trump actually pardoned the 65-year-old mechanic, so he was released from prison early. Another example of how federal agencies have been weaponized by administrations against hardworking Americans, according to Cynthia Lumens. Her bill at this point appears to be going nowhere, but anyone installing delete kits, you might be off the hook for criminal charges, well, at least for the next 3 years, due to the executive order and the Department of Justice's Environment and Natural Resources Division announcing they will no longer pursue criminal charges under the Clean Air Act based on tampering with those diagnostic devices. That's a major shift from the Department of Justice's previous approach. According to the EPA records, the agency resolved 17 Clean Air Act vehicle and engine enforcement cases in the year 2024, 30 cases in the year 23, 33 in 2022, Yeah, 42 in 2021, all under the Biden administration. Truck drivers and diesel mechanics, you're not completely in the clear, as we mentioned. The DOJ says they will still pursue civil enforcement they use when appropriate. What does that actually mean? So keep that in mind. Civil penalties still exist. Jail time likely not going to be happening, but all righty, 844-3388. We close out another hour, a final hour coming your way right after this, the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
Did you miss an episode of the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive? Or just want to relive a little bit of the magic? Don't worry. You can download the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss a single second of the show that was recently named one of the best late-night shows in America. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive so you don't miss a single episode. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive. Available wherever you get your podcasts or online at overnightdriveradio.com.
Truck downtime costs you money. One hidden killer on Cummins ISX 15 engines is weak injector cups. When they leak, coolant gets into the cylinders and suddenly you're facing a big repair bill. Industrial Injection has the fix. Our Torque Lock Injector Cup Kit with a threaded Torque Lock design. These cups stay sealed for good. No more coolant leaks. No more surprise downtime. Keep your truck on the road. Ask your shop for Industrial Injection Torque Lock Injector Cups today.
Winter is here. When the temperature drops, so does your truck's performance. Avoid fuel gelling by using Hot Shot Secret's EDT Plus Winter Defense, a 7-in-1 fuel booster and anti-gel that improves cold weather performance. The 7-point cetane boost decreases DPF regens and increases fuel economy. Be confident that your engine is running smoothly and trouble-free, even in the coldest temperatures. Hot Shot Secret EDT Plus Winter Defense, available at Pilot Flying J, Amazon, O'Reilly Auto Parts, and HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Your factory fuel filter is letting you down. AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel systems don't just filter your fuel. The AirDog fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The factory-provided filter simply removes particulates and water from fuel. The AirDog system removes all contaminants, including entrained air, water, and particulates, and feeds the engine pump with optimal pressure. Check out airdogdiesel.com to learn how you can capture every bit of performance and efficiency from your fuel system.
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero. New York City officials say the frigid weather death toll has climbed to 8 as sub-freezing temperatures continue. Dr. Nancy Conroy is an emergency medicine expert in New York.
It can take 30 minutes for frostbite to set in if the skin is exposed to weather that is at freezing.
The New York City Medical Examiner is going to determine cases as officials warn hypothermia and frostbite can become life-threatening quickly. Similar cold-related deaths have also been reported in Tennessee, Arkansas, Kansas, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Texas during this winter storm. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is bashing the Trump administration after a federal agent shot a U.S. citizen to death in Minneapolis.
Saturday's killing of Alex Preddy was the second such deadly shooting in Minneapolis this month. Bass is calling on President Trump to remove armed federal forces from Minneapolis and other American cities. She calls the deployment of federal agents in the Twin Cities unconstitutional and unlawful. Bass also referenced legal action she and other mayors are taking against the Trump administration to immediately end what she calls a militarized presence in American communities. I'm Daniel Martindale.
A federal appeals court is declining to reconsider a decision upholding the disqualification of Alina Habba as the top federal prosecutor in New Jersey.
According to an order issued Monday, the judges who ruled that Habba was unlawfully appointed to the position did not ask to rehear the case. Most of the judges also voted against putting the matter in front of the full court. That decision will keep a ruling intact that determined Habba's tenure became unlawful when she remained in the role after her 120-day interim term expired. This ruling may also allow for a Supreme Court battle over the president's efforts to keep his preferred prosecutors in U.S. attorneys' offices across the nation. I'm Liz Warner.
At the closing bell, the Dow gained 313 points. The S&P 500 added 34, and the Nasdaq rose 100 points. I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
From America's News Network, USA Radio News.
Commerce moves fast. Your business should too. If you're not on the first page of search results, you're losing customers. Out of sight, out of mind is true. Don't let that be you. iLocal.net has helped local businesses dominate search results since 2009. For a limited time, iLocal.net is offering a free website analysis to improve the online presence of your business. Local business owners across the U.S. turn to iLocal.net to improve their search engine rankings. Search engines are constantly changing their algorithms. You need the professionals who know how to use those changes to benefit your business. Don't hope for new customers. Get found and be chosen. Call 888-699-2407 for your free website analysis. Don't wait. Call 888-699-2407. That's 888-699-2407. For your free website analysis, call 888-699-2407.
Washington Governor Bob Ferguson and Attorney General Nick Brown have sent a letter to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem saying a leaked internal memo allowing ICE to enter homes without judicial warrants is unconstitutional.
ICE is, to be blunt, completely and totally out of control.
They say if federal agents violate residents' constitutional rights in Washington state, the state will use every legal option to hold them accountable and protect citizens. California officials say 120 people were arrested during a week-long human trafficking operation across multiple counties. That includes San Diego.
120 individuals were arrested, 87 arrested for loitering, 25 for solicitation, and 8 for pimping and pandering.
Attorney General Rob Bonta says the 6-day effort spanned Sacramento, Fresno, and San Diego counties, adding that more than 1,000 trafficking victims have been rescued statewide over the last 5 years. Denver Mayor Mike Johnston is doubling down on the city's use of flock cameras.
Mayor Mike Johnston says the flock cameras dramatically improve the city's ability to track stolen cars, and he says he has addressed privacy concerns.
Our new system now does not share any data with the federal government or any federal employees.
Johnson controversially extended the flock contract unilaterally despite objections from city council. I'm Connor Shreve.
AAA reports the national average price for a gallon of gas, $2.88. Kauai, Hawaii is up to $4.92 a gallon, while Greer County, Oklahoma is down to $2.16. For USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero.
What if the music stopped? If the familiar voices were silenced? If there were no breaking news updates? What if your companion and connection to your community came with a monthly fee? Don't worry, we're free local radio with you wherever you go, celebrating 100 years and looking forward to the next 100. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local radio stations. By the National Association of Broadcasters.
At Hotshot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
Hotshot Secret Diesel Extreme.
Today's ultra-low sulfur fuels leave injector deposits causing frequent DPF regens and low throttle response. Diesel Extreme is a once every 6-month treatment that will clean your entire fuel system, including the tank, lines, pump, and the injectors.
Hotshot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com.
Did you miss an episode of the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive? Or just want to relive a little bit of the magic? Don't worry. You can download the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss a single second of the show that was recently named one of the best late-night shows in America. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive so you don't miss a single episode. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive. Available wherever you get your podcasts or online at overnightdriveradio.com.
Keep the bugs off your glass and the smokies off your ass. This is the Overnight Drive with Steve Sommers. What do you say? Final hour. Here we go. Off and rolling. 27th day of January. And we ain't warming up anytime soon. Yeah, looking at some of the current temperatures around the country. It's cold out there. I'm showing 14 at this hour in Boston, 12 in Chicago. Single digits in Indianapolis, 6 degrees. And 13 in the Bronx this morning. 1 degree, Columbus, Ohio. Even in the deep south, freezing this morning. 28 degrees to Houston, Texas. 26 in San Antone. Bundled up. And we're not going to see much improvement in the coming days, according to forecasters. We're locked into the deep freeze. Now, we're supposed to have the, what do they call it, the clash? It's some track, what is it, Bowman Gray? Something like that. Is that North Carolina, South Carolina? I'm not even sure exactly where that track is. That's supposed to be this upcoming weekend, and they're already talking about potentially another big winter storm. Yeah, last I checked, I don't think NASCAR has snow tires, right? We may see a postponement of the clash, thanks to Old Man Winter. Yeah, meanwhile, let's see. You hanging in there, Eagle?
Yeah.
All right, we got you. Welcome back.
Okay, yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, I wanted to finish up what I was saying earlier about the Trump and ICE. Go back to this Bovino. Okay, yeah, like I said, Steve, this Bovino guy, I believe that that video that came out, like I say, I'm not gonna say what I really want to say because it don't seem as though you don't agree with it, so I'm not gonna go into the.
I haven't said anything. I hadn't given my take. I mean, Pappy he kind of gave his take on if you're carrying a gun and then you start committing a crime, you're no longer allowed to have the gun. I mean, what I saw is, and I question, it looks to me like one of the ICE officers or Border Patrol agents, whoever it was, looks like they removed the weapon from his holster. And I'm seeing some reports that say the agent might have accidentally pulled the trigger while he was, walking away with the gun. I mean, they're looking into that, and hearing the sound of a gunshot, the other agents opened fire on the guy. I think to me, I do agree that it doesn't look real good. It looks the investigation's going to continue, but I think there might be some fault to be possibly had involving the officers. I don't know how it's going to end.
Yeah. Okay. Well, obviously, Donald Trump and his people see this, and they know that we're coming up on midterms. It's not a good look, whether it was done on purpose or whether it was done by mistake. Mm-hmm. Not a good look for the Republicans. People are raising all kind of hell about what happened. Like I said, I agree with what you said. I agree with what Pappy said. I'm on your side. Same thing with the woman. Both of them, if they would have been at home like they were supposed to be, if he's a nurse, he'd have been at work and not being out there protesting, he would be alive right now. So you got to think, as my football coach used to tell me when I played football, you got to think about the consequences of your actions. There are consequences for things that you do. If you don't want nothing bad to happen to you or something to hurt you, then you might want to stay away from those activities. Something just simple as that. So, like I said before, I believe that if you look at the guy, I believe that the gun might have misfired, just like you said. The guy, whoever that guy is that took the gun from his waist, he might have mistakenly had his hand on the trigger and fired the gun, and that alerted all the other officers and naturally they're gonna start firing. That's what it looks like, is that it was a mistaken, and they thought the guy really had a gun. The guy said, I think the guy might have hollered gun when he took the gun off the man's body, and it mistakenly went off, and all them guys heard gun, and they started firing. But like I say, the left, we already know the left is gonna use this video for everything. They gonna wear this video. They gonna show this video so much that it's gonna be worn out. And Bovino was the casualty of this because he was the leader of the ICE in Minnesota. So naturally he's gonna be the first one to get kicked out of town. Like I said, Bovino didn't do nothing wrong. He was doing his job. He wasn't even at the scene. But if you talk to the left, he was there. He was actually there at the scene, which is nothing but a lie. He wasn't even there when the shooting took place. But like I said, there had to be somebody. Somebody had to take a fall, Steve, as they always say. Somebody had to go. Somebody had to be the scapegoat. So they made him the scapegoat. He didn't do nothing wrong. Now, as far like we said before, Steve, about Governor Walz, Fat Boy. If he would have done what he was supposed to do from the beginning, I blame all this on him to begin with, Steve. Both of these people would be alive right now if it all goes back to him on day number one. Him and I told you I was in shock when I heard the language of the mayor when he was using profanity to tell them to get the F out of town. Just go all the way back to day number one. If he would have in turn said like Governor Abbott down in Texas, where I live at, and the governor in Florida, if he would have said, yes, sir, President, you come on in. We gonna let you know where all the criminals are. We gonna open up the jails, let you get these people the hell out of Minnesota. We're gonna cooperate with you in any way we can to get this thing over with. Guess what? That woman will be alive, and that man, Saturday will be alive right now, because the ICE wouldn't even be in town right now. They'd already swept it up, just like they did in Texas. And came in and got the bad guys out and moved on to another city. But Fat Boy can't see that. He thinks by being in the way. But see, some people have to learn the lesson hard. See, it took him a little bit longer, but it looked like he's finally coming around now. Now he want to cooperate with Donald Trump after two people have lost their lives night after night of protests. Some people, like I said, Steve, it takes some people a little bit longer to learn the right way to do things. And unfortunately, some bad things have to take place. So hopefully he will do the right thing, and just like Trump and other people said, we can get in and we'll be gone. We'll get the hell out of your city and move on to the next city and clean that place up and get these clowns out and get them out of here. Get the illegals out and the bad guys out and behind bars where they belong. That's all they trying to. Nobody wants to take over their town. Nobody wants to do this fight with these people. They want the bad people, and it's just that simple. Now, as far as the other situation goes, Steve, with the what's this guy's name? The other guy, Don Lemon. This guy, Don Lemon, he continues to talk. Now that's the guy that needs to be arrested. This guy, he should have been. How he got away with what he did, I still don't know. Last when they busted into that church, and still a free man. But yeah, he continues to run his mouth and talk about Donald Trump. It seems like he has an obsession with Donald Trump to where he's not going to be happy until Trump is out of the White House. Because I think he thinks that Trump is responsible for costing him his job at CNN. But I got bad news for you, Don Lemon. You cost you your job at CNN with your racist attitude and your bad attitude. You're the reason why you're not at CNN television. The same thing as the other lady that got kicked out of MSNBC. Both of them out because both of them didn't deserve to be because they were racist. That's why they no longer have an employed by that. Not Donald Trump. You cost your own self that job. And but it seems as though he hasn't learned his lesson, Steve. He's still doing the same thing. So Don Lemon, like I said, and then people on The View, all them losers, Whoopi Goldberg, and all of them are traitors to their own country, and they come on TV every day with the same old rhetoric. You should hear what they said on The View about this shooting that took place. You would think that we lived in Germany. They talking about Germany in 1930 with Hitler. These losers. That's how stupid they are. This has nothing to do with Germany or Hitler, but that's the mentality of the people of the left. And I thank you for taking my call tonight.
All right, Eagle. Thank you for checking in. Let me see here. I think Pappy mentioned earlier the parents of the guy that was killed Saturday morning in Minneapolis said they actually told him to be careful out there participating in these protests. The family member said an intensive care nurse at a Department of Veterans Affairs hospital who cared deeply about people. He was upset with Trump's immigration crackdown. Now, apparently he had participated in protests following the shooting of Renee Good, who was originally from Colorado. His parents, who live in Colorado, speaking out saying they urged him to be cautious. His dad said, we had this discussion with him 2 weeks ago or so. About, to go ahead and protest, but do not engage. Don't do something stupid, basically. And he said he knew that. Now, said they first learned of the shooting when they got a call from an Associated Press reporter. The parents said the last conversation with their son was a couple of days before his death. Apparently talked about what repairs he had done to the garage door of his home. He said the worker that did the work on his garage door was a Latino man, and said with all the stuff that's happening in Minneapolis, he gave the guy a $100 tip. But he cared about people, and he was upset at what's happening in Minneapolis and around the country with ICE, as millions of other people are upset. Now he buys into this narrative that ICE is kidnapping children, because the parents said, quote, he thought it was terrible, kidnapping children, just grabbing people off the street. He cared about those people, and he knows it's wrong. So he did participate in the protests. So when you listen to that narrative you're hearing about, they're grabbing 5-year-olds off the street. The mainstream media will pass that on. We shared the totally debunked story last week that had been run by CBS News and ABC News right along that line. People buy into this, and in their heart of hearts, they honestly think they're doing good. They think they're doing the right thing, standing up to an oppressive government, which is, it's sad but true.
Did you miss an episode of the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive? Or just want to relive a little bit of the magic? Don't worry. You can download the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss a single second of the show that was recently named one of the best late-night shows in America. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive so you don't miss a single episode. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive. Available wherever you get your podcasts or online at overnightdriveradio.com. Truck downtime costs you money. One hidden killer on Cummins ISX 15 engines is weak injector cups. When they leak, coolant gets into the cylinders and suddenly you're facing a big repair bill. Industrial Injection has the fix. Our Torque Lock Injector Cup Kit with a threaded Torque Lock design. These cups stay sealed for good. No more coolant leaks. No more surprise downtime. Keep your truck on the road. Ask your shop for Industrial Injection Torque Lock Injector Cups today. Want to put your business on a brand that is heard in some of the biggest radio markets on some of the biggest radio stations in the United States? Or maybe you want to have your brand take advantage of the explosive growth in podcasting. Why not do both? The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive offers the best of both worlds and is ready to put your business at the front of everyone's waking thoughts.
I'm sorry, am I moving too quickly for you?
Well, at least you'll be on their mind in there somewhere. For sure, the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive was recently named one of the top 15 late-night shows in America. So advertising on the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive will put you in front of the very clients you want to walk through your front door. Interested? Maybe you want to take a test drive, kick the tires, do a sample tasting, which might be kind of gross. Get details at overnightdriveradio.com or email rwild@lubricationspecialties.com. And let's put the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive to work for you today.
Well, we're off the air. For good, I think.
Meanwhile, still trying to get the drugs off the streets of America. As we continue to strike some of these drug boats in the Pacific and the Caribbean. Said the number of dead narco terrorists is now 126. With the inclusion of those presumed dead after being lost at sea, according to the military this past day. Figures include 116 who were instantly killed and at least 36 strikes carried out since early September. 10 others believed dead because searchers did not locate them following a strike. 8 of the presumed dead had jumped off boats when American forces attacked a trio of vessels. The number was not released previously, although the military said when announcing those strikes, the Coast Guard had searched for survivors. The 2 other people presumed dead were on boats that were attacked on October 27 and last Friday. But the president maintains we are in armed conflict with the cartels in Latin America. Said the attacks are necessary, an escalation to stem the flow of drugs. Critics continue to question the overall legality of the strikes, in part because the fentanyl behind many of the fatal overdoses in this country is typically trafficked to the U.S. Overland from Mexico, produced from chemicals that they bring in from China and India. We know all that background. Drugs not just come in here, though. Portuguese officials said this past day that authorities had recovered a record cocaine shipment after intercepting a semi-submersible near the Azores, their largest ever seizure involving a narco sub. Portugal Justice Police said investigators found close to 10 tons of cocaine aboard the craft after it was stopped about 230 nautical miles from the Azores, the largest cocaine seizure in Portugal's history. The operation, they said, carried out over several recent days and involved Portugal's Navy and Air Force and included cooperation with authorities from the United Kingdom and the United States. They said the interception took place in difficult weather conditions in the open seas. The vessel was carrying about 300 packages of cocaine when it was stopped. Authorities said 35 packages were actually lost after the semi-submersible vessel later sank. 4 people aboard the vessel were taken into custody. That were 3 Colombians and 1 Venezuelan. Investigators said the vessel had departed Latin America and was believed to be headed toward Europe. They released video footage showing officers boarding the low-profile vessel at sea, detaining suspects during the operation. These submarines, or semi-submersibles, they call them, widely used by international drug trafficking networks because they ride so low in the water they're difficult to be detected by radar. Unlike actual submarines, they generally cannot fully submerge, but their design kind of helps them blend into the sea conditions, reduce the visibility profile. Many of these vessels have been built in clandestine shipyards in remote areas of South America, used to move cocaine toward either Central America or Mexico. European authorities, though, have been increasingly warned in recent years. Traffickers are trying to attempt longer transatlantic crossings to deliver the likes of bulk shipments closer to the European markets. 10 tons. That's a lot of cocaine, I'll tell you. Let's see here. Scrapyard. How we doing this morning, Scrapyard?
Oh, just trying not to freeze to death, running around and keeping an eye on water and everything else like that. Well, Miss Patty's in there snoozing. Yeah, it's getting really weird down here. People really wilding now. We had been thefts of full-size house propane tanks. People showing up basically in the middle of the night and unhooking them and dragging them off. We had one just recently over in Sharp County that if they just got their propane tank, a 250-gallon tank, got it filled up, and they got up and it's gone.
Wow. So we're not talking talking the little tank you use for the grill, the 15, 20 pounder. We're talking a decent sized tank.
Yeah, whole house propane tanks. Apparently,
Wow.
It's been going on around the state. People have been stealing full size house propane tanks after they've been filled and all that. So, yeah, that we need to find whoever did that and just take an old black snake whip and all that and cut the laundry off of them out in these temperatures and let them see how they like it. But yeah. I posted earlier a number. I think you may have a hacker on YouTube, either working for them or working against them, because every time you turn around, your YouTube feed is crashing. And I compared it against the app and against Facebook, and didn't see an issue on either one of those. But on the YouTube, every time you turn around, it kept falling out. So I'm wondering if somebody's not doing what they can to attack you and try to shut you up again.
I don't know. We have been having some technicalities with the computer. I don't know. I'm going to have to make a few phone calls this morning and see if we can figure anything out.
Yeah, that probably need to run a stronger antivirus and anti-malware on it. There used to be a program years ago, and it was so vicious that they had to pull it. It was called Cyber Bulldog. And even had an icon. It would detect on your computer. It had a bulldog icon you could drag around, and that bulldog would start growling when somebody was trying to attack your computer on a live attack.
Is that right?
And yeah, and then you just reached over and you clicked on it on a portion of the icon that said "sick 'em," and it would cause your computer to the power supply in it. It caused them to catch fire.
I'll be darned. That's fair. I never heard of that one. But hey, we got to pause there.
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero. New York City officials say the frigid weather death toll has climbed to 8 amid several unanswered questions.
Mayor Mamdani had first suggested that some of the victims might be homeless, but the circumstances linked to the deaths, that's unknown.
What we are seeing is people coming in with issues and concerns related to the weather.
Dr. Nancy Conroy is an emergency medicine expert at NYU Langone and says in the brutal cold, it doesn't take long for life-threatening problems to arise.
30 minutes for frostbite to set in if the skin is exposed to weather that is at freezing.
And the city is facing sub-freezing temps over the next week. I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
Kanye West is using a full-page ad in today's Wall Street Journal to apologize for past anti-Semitic remarks. West said a frontal lobe brain injury from his 2002 car crash went undiagnosed until 2023, contributing to his bipolar disorder. From America's News Network, USA Radio News.
Maybe this is you too. There's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing. Healthcare costs for families in the last 20 years have almost tripled, and it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives, and MediShare is proven. You can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more. Over 1 million Americans are now part of healthcare sharing, and MediShare is the gold standard. It's trusted. It works. It's been helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Want to put your business on a brand that is heard in some of the biggest radio markets on some of the biggest radio stations in the United States? Or maybe you want to have your brand take advantage of the explosive growth in podcasting. Why not do both? The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive offers the best of both worlds and is ready to put your business at the front of everyone's waking thoughts.
I'm sorry, am I moving too quickly for you?
Well, at least you'll be on their mind in there somewhere. For sure, the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive was recently named one of the top 15 late-night shows in America. So advertising on the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive will put you in front of the very clients you want to walk through your front door. Interested? Maybe you want to take a test drive, kick the tires, Do a sample tasting, which might be kind of gross. Get details at overnightdriveradio.com or email rwild@lubricationspecialties.com. And let's put the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive to work for you today.
Well, we're off the air. For good, I think.
Truck downtime costs you money. One hidden killer on Cummins ISX 15 engines is weak injector cups. When they leak, coolant gets into the cylinders and suddenly you're facing a big repair bill. Industrial Injection has the fix. Our Torque Lock Injector Cup Kit with a threaded Torque Lock design. These cups stay sealed for good. No more coolant leaks. No more surprise downtime. Keep your truck on the road. Ask your shop for Industrial Injection Torque Lock Injector Cups today.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
Fuel additives.
most fuel additives either impact performance or provide protection. Hot Shot Secret Everyday Diesel Treatment provides both performance enhancement and fuel system protection. Everyday Diesel Treatment delivers a 6-in-1 premium fuel treatment for every fill-up, every time.
Everyday diesel treatment is available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at hotshotsecret.com.
Your factory fuel filter is letting you down. AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel systems don't just filter your fuel. The AirDog fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The factory-provided filter simply removes particulates and water from fuel. The AirDog system removes all contaminants, including entrained air, water, and particulates, and feeds the engine pump with optimal pressure. Check out airdogdiesel.com to learn how you can capture every bit of performance and efficiency from your fuel system.
Did you miss an episode of the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive? Or just want to relive a little bit of the magic? Don't worry. You can download the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss a single second of the show that was recently named one of the best late-night shows in America. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive so you don't miss a single episode. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive. Available wherever you get your podcasts or online at overnightdriveradio.com.
The Overnight Drive with Steve Sommers. Live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios. Call Steve now. 844-844-3388. That's 844-844-3388. I see where law enforcement are advising people, come on, we had this big winter storm. Now, please do your part and clean your vehicle off before you hit the road. Now, I know, my son was talking this past day. He said, some of these DAs out here driving around, I'm about to start pulling them over. They've got it literally a foot, 12, 14 inches of snow. And they'll clean off their windshield and their back window, but you got a foot of snow plus on the top of the vehicle. That vehicle's going to warm up at some point, and it's all going to come off, potentially catching the wind and ending up in somebody else's windshield. The case in Kentucky, these folks only had maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches of snow on the vehicle. It looks like they had more ice than anything else. Like the sleet. But for the windshield, they cleared off, I swear, it's maybe like 1.5 foot diameter circle where whoever was behind the wheel could actually see forward. But didn't clear anything off, like the passenger side, the lower or upper part of the windshield. They call them tank commanders. Actually, you're trying to go down the road, but that little circle you can see, you have no peripheral vision at all. Now, first of all, you can't see. But all that snow and ice eventually comes loose while you're going down the road, becomes a hazard to other people. This post says the trooper shared the picture of the driver he pulled over with that obstructed windshield. He did say, I used my discretion. I did not issue a citation, but I did make him clear the windshield and the ice before letting him drive off. Yeah, potential charges could have been obstructed windshield and careless or reckless driving. Yeah, the fine could have cost several $100s. But he said the ultimate goal is to prevent crashes and keep everybody safe. So he did not issue a citation there. And after a big storm like this, where this is what we're going to begin seeing in the coming days, where you have these tractor trailers that had inches of snow. Sun comes out in the day, begins to melt it down. There's not much, doesn't look like much, but it's all turned into an 1.5 inch, 2-inch solid sheet of ice. And again, during the day, the melting, refreeze, the melting. You'll see these trucks going down the road, gigantic slabs, chunks of ice coming off. In some cases, actually penetrating other people's windshields, causing crashes. A number of states now have fines and severe penalties. I know Pennsylvania's really on top of making you clean off your vehicle before you get back out on the road. You could kill somebody. All right, took care of the news break there. Welcome back, Scrapyard.
Oh, not much. I'm just making an old Southern staple here. I got lucky out there. The dead squirrels, and I kept tearing up the bird feeders, so I'm making a pot of squirrel and dumplings this morning.
Uh-oh.
And, they kept tearing up the bird feeders, and all the birds couldn't even eat and all that, so we going to make an old Southern staple. Of squirrel and dumplings.
The squirrels get hungry, too.
Yeah, they get hungry and they get awful dead-gum fat, and when they get that fat, it's time to put them in the pot, I'm telling you, brother. But,
right.
And all this thievery and everything going on, and the plus two about the trucks, 4 years ago when we had that bad ice storm, I nearly lost my life just trying to shut my trailer doors. Big slab of that fell off there, and it fell off when I was shutting the driver's side door. And when I pulled away from the building, there was a big slab up there I didn't notice. Of course, I start my run in the dark in the winter months. And I went up there to shut that door, and that big slab of ice come off there, and I woke up, froze to the ground. And my head split open. It come to the hair killing me.
Wow.
It busted a big gash on my head. And nearly broke my collarbone on my left side. I had actual bone bruising, and that's a lot of companies, especially down here, don't have a drive under ice scrubber to clear the top of the trailer off. Unfortunately, my company's the same way. We don't have one of those, so it makes it really interesting just trying to do our job and not get somebody hurt or get hurt in the process. And, and then if that comes off going down the road and all that, if anybody behind you gets hurt, well, you can be held liable and thrown in the pokey.
Mm-hmm.
So anything like that, if y'all have the option and all that, like at a shipper receiver, if they have one, use it. Or at your yard, use it. Don't let it slide. Because it's going to slide when it comes loose. So
right.
But it is what it is. Like I said, I nearly lost my life just trying to shut my doors and all that. Got battered and bruised, and when I came to on the ground and all that, my own blood had froze me to the ground through my clothing. And so you just got to be mindful of what you're doing and where you're doing it and when you're doing it.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
He's going from one extreme to the other out here on planet Earth. Out there in Hawaii, they're having big volcanic eruptions, and some research center out there, they had to evacuate it. The eruption of, I forgot what volcano it was, but it was so huge that the research center was getting covered up, and they were trying to evacuate people out of there with the stones falling out of the sky. And going from fire to ice over here.
I think that's the Kilauea that's been erupting as of late, and it's been going for quite some time. But so I hadn't heard anything about a major eruption, though. See what I can find out. 19 before the hour. We were mentioning getting the drugs off the roads. Here closer to home, the members of a drug trafficking organization using semi-trucks to transport methamphetamine have been collectively sentenced to more than 278 years in federal prison. Authorities announcing here a few days ago 18 people sentenced after a 4-year-long investigation into the drug trafficking organization that specialized in transporting liquid meth by semi-truck from Mexico through Texas to Oklahoma City and elsewhere. This organization transported approximately 35,000 pounds of methamphetamine. Estimated street value would be like $64 million from Mexico into the U.S. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Oklahoma, starting at least in February of 21, these drug trafficking members smuggled liquid methamphetamine inside the fuel tanks of semi-trucks crossing the border from Mexico into the U.S. In support of the organization, 59-year-old Dennis Gutierrez ran trucking companies. He ran a DGC Express and a trucking company known as Dare Express that were responsible for hauling the shipments of drugs to Oklahoma. Investigators say he was assisted by 53-year-old Cesar Aguilar, who facilitated the transfer of the liquid methamphetamine between trucks, and another 58-year-old Adrian Cruz, who instructed the truck drivers on where to deliver the liquid methamphetamine. Part of the investigation, law enforcement seizing a 2015 Freightliner Cascadia semi, multiple firearms, tens of thousands of dollars in U.S. currency, and real estate located in Wellston, Oklahoma, as well as Edinburgh, Texas. Yeah, I guess every organization like that, you get off the streets and another pops up somewhere, right? It seems like it never ends. Vic, what's going on this morning?
Well, trying to recuperate from my day of moving snow. Where's the guy? He stayed about 5-6 feet from the mailbox. So when a lot of people woke up yesterday morning, they couldn't get out of their drive. Of course, that didn't affect me because I didn't need to, but it was kind of odd to be out there and watch everybody trying to finish up his job. And then I've been having a problem with my blood pressure being a little bit too high and my sugar readings. Well, oddly enough, when I got out there and exercised, I had a sudden drop in both of them. I kind of got lightheaded and fell down, and I thought, man, I don't think I had a stroke or anything. So I went in and took my blood pressure, and my sugar, and both of them had dropped rather precipitously. So, well, okay, that's it. And then I was kind of having used a lot of muscles, and whenever I said to my wife, I said, well, I got to kind of, do something here to get these sore muscles going. And the only thing she said was, well, you overdid it, and that's what happens when you get old. So I didn't catch a lot of your show tonight, but when you were talking about the gold and silver, the Philadelphia Stock Exchange used to have a gold-silver index, and that's of all the different gold and silver miners. So that's usually a pretty good thing to look at. But the thing I was calling about, they were fussing all about this investigation. Well, as far as I knew, every time there's a police shooting at any level, there's always a complete investigation. And a lot of times the officers are put on administrative leave. So I really don't know what they're talking about, because a lot of people can make a lot of salutes, make a lot of judgments and everything. But the bottom line boils down to one thing. They shouldn't have been out there interfering with police officers. But what's even more troubling is Congress is wanting to shut the government down again because they don't want DHS funding, and they were talking about the ICE officers. Well, that C in ICE is immigration and customs enforcement. And what you were just talking about was the drug smuggling. If you don't have customs enforcement, Lord only knows how many counterfeit how many counterfeit commercial items and drugs and everything else is going to be pulled across the border. So I have a bigger problem with Congress really than the protesters, because number one, the 1980 Refugee Act came about because President Reagan would not give people fleeing the South American, Central American wars. He refused to give those people asylum when they were fleeing the wars. So Congress passed the 1980 Refugee Act for people that could not get asylum. So when they say we are a sanctuary city for people that have been given asylum, that's a total misuse of that term.
Right.
So, that was the main thing that I wanted to point out. And because the laws are being greatly misused, and I think that some of these officials in these cities and everything else is like, well, if you're a sanctuary city, who do you have here that has been refused asylum? Are they just all illegal? And do you have any of those people in your jail on drug charges or, well, anything, any criminal charges? So they should say, why won't you give them up voluntarily, and we'll just get them out of the country? Because I thought I said, I don't know if you've seen that or not, but there's something about this Trinidad Uruguay and an ATM theft ring or something. I didn't really follow up on it, but that's just what I wanted to mention real quick, that they're totally misusing sanctuary cities in the 1980 Refugee Act, because if they're here illegally, they got to go anyway to commit a criminal act, and they were given asylum, then that's the end of that, or a visa, overstay a visa. I mean, there's several different ways you can violate that Immigration and Naturalization Act. So I can't believe that Congress and these people's cities and states and everything else think they're a hero. I mean, to me, they're just outlaws, purely, plainly, and simple. And my take on it is, let's just look at the people that's what they call it, facilitating or all these different criminal acts, and then let's start looking at the people that are providing the money to all this, because putting together these protests is not a cheap thing, and I doubt that very many of those could really afford to do that, take time off work and everything else. But I don't know, maybe they're independently wealthy. And that's all I have there, Steve.
All right. Vic, good to hear from you. Stay warm. And that's going to be a difficult task here for a few days. All right. Hello to the hired gun. Checking in from Northwest Georgia this morning, right? Let me see. Talking about some of these events, he said the problem with most of these events is the top floor people start talking before they have all the facts. Sommers saying, in regards to this past weekend shooting there in Minneapolis, that Kirsty Noem was speaking before the facts were in. I mean, and realistically, you can't come and try to depict an official narrative before any sort of investigation, review of photos and video documentation has taken place, because it's pretty much guaranteed. The first story to come out is always going to be changed, moderated, updated, and possibly totally different than what the early information might depict. All right, Rick in Columbus checking in here this early Tuesday. 844-844-3388. Back in 2.
Want to put your business on a brand that is heard in some of the biggest radio markets on some of the biggest radio stations in the United States? Or maybe you want to have your brand take advantage of the explosive growth in podcasting. Why not do both? The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive offers the best of both worlds and is ready to put your business at the front of everyone's waking thoughts.
I'm sorry, am I moving too quickly for you?
Well, at least you'll be on their mind in there somewhere. For sure, the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive was recently named one of the top 15 late-night shows in America. So advertising on the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive will put you in front of the very clients you want to walk through your front door. Interested? Maybe you want to take a test drive, kick the tires, do a sample tasting, which might be kind of gross. Get details at overnightdriveradio.com or email rwild@lubricationspecialties.com. And let's put the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive to work for you today.
Well, we're off the air. For good, I think.
Your factory fuel filter is letting you down. AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel systems don't just filter your fuel. The AirDog fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The factory-provided filter simply removes particulates and water from fuel. The AirDog system removes all contaminants, including entrained air, water, and particulates, and feeds the engine pump with optimal pressure. Check out airdogdiesel.com to learn how you can capture every bit of performance and efficiency from your fuel system.
Did you miss an episode of the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive? Or just want to relive a little bit of the magic? Don't worry, you can download the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss a single second of the show that was recently named one of the best late night shows in America. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive so you don't miss a single episode. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, available wherever you get your podcasts or online at overnightdriveradio.com.
Daughter trying to ask how the road conditions are this morning. I said, well, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sitting in a studio. Yeah, based on what I've been seeing, I think interstates should be good to go this morning. 24 hours ago, it was a different story. Horse feathers, yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks for taking me back there, Your Honor. So, earlier at the beginning of the show there, you went over the new exemption that came out that covers what? Most of the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, right. Europe, maybe Russia. I'm not sure. But now we've had an exemption, a regional exemption in effect that was supposed to expire on the 15th. But you said this one expired on the 6th. Now, does this one supersede that one, and the other one's still? Does that make that one inactive, or does that make it so that there's two out there?
I think there's two, actually, maybe three. But this one covered 40 states, though. It was 40 states.
Okay.
So.
Anyways,
I knew. Last week you had a regional exemption that covered like a half dozen states there in the Northeast, and then there was another that was out like Iowa to Nebraska. I think it included out there two separate ones, and they had different expiration dates. But this one again goes to I think it was February the 6th, right? Yeah, covering nearly the entirety of the lower 48. Now, I said at the time, here's the funny thing. You've got your rules, your regulations, your hours of service. You better follow those rules to a T, or you're going to find yourself fined, in trouble, placed out of service. But as soon as, something goes wrong, we don't need no stinking hours of service. Get out there, do your job. Just do it safely. How does that work? Kind of tells me if you'd allow drivers to do their job, do what they need to do, take a break when they need a break, take a nap when they need a nap. You know when you're feeling tired. You know when you need to get a little rest. But you can't stop because you know that 14-hour clock and your 11 driving hours, the clock is ticking, so you got to keep pushing the envelope, right? All right, final note here. The U.S. a couple days ago announced we're planning to inject $1.6 billion into an Oklahoma-based mining USA rare earth. And we will receive, I guess the government, a 10% stake in the company. According to the Financial Times, the government investment and a separate $1 billion private financing deal. The White House and USA Rare Earth said the government would receive 16.1 million shares in the Rare Earths Company, along with warrants for another 17.6 million, both priced at $17.17. Washington said back last month that we're planning more historic deals with the U.S. mining sector to increase domestic production of the likes of lithium, rare earths, and other minerals we need for national defense. And, more importantly, to less rely on China. They've used those mineral prowess as leverage in trade negotiations. Hey, have a safe day. Good to have you with us. Hope to see you back at the midnight hour Eastern Time for our next edition, the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
You'll never guess the places that I've been. You never guess the places that I've been. 'Cause everything is like a dream, yeah, but only in that dream that I live in. I'm never gonna let the day begin. Never gonna let the day begin. 'Cause everything is like a dream, yeah, but only in that dream that I live in. Oh, don't wake me up before you go, and I'll just make this bed my home. Oh, darling, please just let me sleep. Give me my dreams. Better from above. Nothing's ever as it seems, yeah, except in that world that I dream of. Never gonna lose the ones I love. Never gonna lose the ones I love. 'Cause everything is like a dream, yeah, but only in that world that I dream of.